Sean, I'm a personal trainer based in Stafford, and I'm going to run through a strength training program for you guys to do from home, exclusive for run-fit athletes. We're going to be using minimal kit, so the bare minimum you will need is a power band. Okay, this is the second lightest option you can get, and it will be ideal for this workout pretty much no matter what your strength is, because we can double it up, triple it up, and increase the resistance for pretty much everybody. So that's the bare minimum you're going to need. If you've got a rucksack lying around, then that's great, so you can add extra resistance there. Another good little purchase, which will only cost you a couple of quid, will be a door anchor, which basically attaches the band between us and a door, so that we can set the band at various heights to perform different exercises as well. There will be options to scale each exercise down or up, depending on where you're at with your level of strength at the moment. And this is designed to progress on from workouts 1 and 2. So please make sure you follow those through first of all. This is the third progression to build you up from there. There's the 7 exercises that we went through, 5 exercises predominantly lower body, working quads, glutes, hamstrings and calves, and a couple of core exercises to finish off towards the bottom as well. Please do make sure you're thoroughly warm before taking part in this. And any questions afterwards regarding the exercises, any problems that you may have, please give myself or Lee a shout, and we'll be able to answer those and make sure you're on the right track in terms of getting the most out of this workout. So, out of the 7 exercises, again, depending on what you want out of it, you can treat it almost like a circuit, not high intensity, but you can run through them one after another. The way I've ordered the exercises is that you'll be working opposite muscles. So although you might be doing them back to back, your muscles will be getting a little bit of a rest. You won't be overworking them continuously one after another. So you can treat it like a bit like a circuit that we have done in workout 2, or you can just literally go through each exercise one at a time, resting about 30 to 60 seconds between each one. Per exercise, we're looking to complete 4 sets, and we're looking to do 8 to 12 repetitions per set. So that means for any single leg work that we do, we'll be doing 4 times per leg. Okay, so it'll be actually 8 sets in total. Okay, so I'm going to run through each of those exercises with you today. The first one being back squats. We've got a couple of options. We can use just the band for this. So if we step inside the band, feet back shoulder width apart, we're going to pull the band, press it up and over your head, and that's going to sit on the back of your shoulders. So it's not in the back of your neck, it's not pulling your neck forward, it's on your upper back of the shoulders. Feet shoulder width apart, hold on to the band to apply a little bit more tension, pressing your feet out into the band, and then keep looking forward. We're going to push the hips back, sit down into our squat slowly, sort of 3 to 4 seconds down, and then standing up a little bit more quickly. Okay, we're going to breathe in as we lower down, 3 to 4 seconds. Exhale as we stand back up, and just to show you from side on there what it looks like, pushing the hips backwards, slowly down, driving up at the top. So that's option 1. Option 2 is we can use a rucksack. Now this is an empty rucksack, but it will still give me quite a lot of extra resistance. Obviously you can progress further from there by adding it up. What I would suggest is just try and progress sort of about 10% each week. Don't just jump up too quickly. Go through the progressions and see how you're feeling after the session before increasing the resistance again further after. So I've just slipped that through the straps at the back there, and then I'm going to put the rucksack on my back. So the bands are now hanging down by each of my hips. The easiest way to get these bands now under my feet is if I take one knee to the floor, and I'm going to take this band underneath my heel, make sure you keep that heel down, and then the same with this one here. So the band is now underneath each heel, okay, and already that's quite a lot of resistance. I can feel this band really pulling down onto my shoulders. So showing you from the front, you can place your hands wherever you feel best for your balance, whether it's out here, closed in, or out to the side, and I'm just going to sit down. The bands are just coming towards outside my hip there, driving back up. We're looking at the same speed, okay? So it's like 3, 2, 1, drive back up. 3, 2, 1, drive back up. Okay? Just be careful when you take it off. It doesn't whip you. Cool. So that's with an empty rucksack. You can then progress it further. So we've got 3 options there. We've got 1 with a band, we've got 2 with a rucksack and band, and we've got 3 with extra resistance in the rucksack as well. Second exercise, we've got staggered stance deadlifts. So by staggered stance, what we're looking at, feet are shoulder width apart, and all we're going to do is just raise one heel, and I'm just going to slide that back so it's behind my other heel. Okay, not directly behind, so I'm not on a tightrope. Okay, you're going to lose balance. So that my feet are still shoulder width apart. Raise that heel, and it comes slightly back there. What I do from here is I'm going to take this underneath that front foot. Okay, back foot's lifted slightly, so the majority of my weight is shifted onto my front foot. Okay, your back leg's just there to stabilise and give you a little bit of balance. We're keeping the chest up nice and tall, keeping the shin tall, vertical, and you're pushing your hips backwards to hinge forward. If the band completely loosens off there, readjust. So it's at the bottom position that you want slight resistance on there, so that then when we stand and we pull the hips through, we increase the resistance all the way. Keeping the shin vertical, you're pushing your hips back, keeping your back flat, keeping your shoulder blades pulling back, getting that slight stretch in the hamstring, and then driving through. So imagine you're buried to stand to your knee, so my lower leg can't move, I'm just hinging forwards, I'm just peeping over the edge of the cliff there, the hamstring pulls slightly, and then I drive back through. All the time, you're keeping your shoulder blades pulling back. You don't want your back to round, you don't want your back to look like this. You want your back nice and flat, pushing the hips back, keeping your chest up, driving through. Okay, you should feel it in the hamstrings, glutes, possibly in the lower back as well. We do that on each side. Okay, with resistance for that one, again we can supply more or less resistance by adding more or less tension on the band, but you can also add the rucksack as well. If you add the rucksack, just wear the rucksack. Don't apply the band to it as well. So chuck your rucksack on, chuck some books or some tins of food in there, whatever you've got to weigh it down, but we set up the same with the band, okay? So we just got some extra resistance to push through with the rucksack on there. Same again, that'll be 4 sets on each leg, 8 to 12 repetitions. Maybe start at the lower range, and then if you're feeling good throughout the sets, maybe start at 8 reps, work up to 10, work up to 12, or maybe start the first workout at 8, second workout 10, third workout 12, and then look to progress through the progressions there afterwards. Lunges next, so this is just going to be a body weight exercise to begin with. So your lunge is the next progression from a split squat. So this is just a bit more of a dynamic exercise this time. So we're going to step forwards, and then from here we perform a split squat. So we lower down to the back knee touches the floor, just taps, and then we drive through that front leg back to the start. Okay? So I don't want you to lunge your body forwards, I want you to step forwards, we lunge straight down, and then we push through this front foot back to the start. Okay? A couple of variations. So we can start with alternate legs. Okay, so by doing it alternatively, then each leg is just getting a couple of seconds rest between each rep. We can progress it so that we're just working all 8 to 12 reps on one leg. Keep it up nice and tall, look straight forward. The knee, as we bend, is looking to go straight over your toes. So as I lunge down, my knee is coming straight forward. It's not coming towards the inside or outside of my toes there. You'll probably find that one because we're moving a little bit more. You might even tell my breath now. Will increase your heart rate a little bit more than the other strength exercises. And again, 8 to 12 reps on each side. So first variation is alternate legs, left foot, right foot. Second variation is performing them all on one side and then the other. Third variation is either one of those options, but you're going to chuck your rucksack on as well. Okay, I'm using the rucksack today because it's here. You know, if you've got kettlebells, if you've got dumbbells, even if you've got a couple of heavy books, whatever you may have at home, you can hold that against your body as well. The rucksack is just a comfortable option to have it on your back and not have to think about holding things with your arms at the front. So that's exercise number 3. Fourth exercise, similar to the second workout that we did with single leg deadlifts, and we're just going to add a band this time. Okay, so just to remind you, single leg deadlift, similar to the staggered stance, but we're actually going to lift this back leg now. We're going to add the resistance underneath. So remember, like with your staggered stance, when you're hinging forwards, we want tension. So my band's gone loose there. So just at about sort of mid-shin height, that's where you want your tension. So we're going to stand up. Our starting position is standing. I'm going to release my left leg, and then from here, keeping my shin vertical again, and I'm just peeping over the edge of that cliff. I'm pushing my hips backwards, and I'm also pulling my shoulders back. So what I don't want is this span to pull my chest down. So if I show you the incorrect way, if I try and bend through my spine and not really move my hips and let the band pull me down, you'll see my back really arches. And for me to get back up, my back's having to then work in the opposite direction. So that's where you can start to feel your back twinge a little bit. So we don't really want the back to move. So imagine I've got a rod going down my back, and that's keeping my back straight. So all I'm doing, don't think about bending forward through the spine. Think about pushing the hips back. Keep pushing the hips back until you feel that slight stretch in your hamstrings, and then pull through. Okay? A good question I get asked a lot is how far down should you go? And everyone's got different range of flexibility. My hamstrings are pretty tight, so if I go forwards now, okay, I feel my hamstrings pull there, and that's where I'm going to pull back up. If I go further, I can go further, but that's then when I start rounding my back. Okay, so it's all dependent on your flexibility in your hamstrings. What I would say is if you do get your torso parallel to the floor, I say that's far enough, and then drive back up again. For some of you, it might even be just there. Okay, even if it's just there, that's okay. The more you do this exercise, the more range you should start to build in your hamstrings, your hips, and your knees as well. Exercise number 5, we've got calf raises. So this one's very similar to the previous workouts. You can do these on the bottom step of the stairs. You can do them on a book, on a little step. Whatever you've got that can just raise the ball of your foot by about 2 to 3 inches. I'm going to show you with a weight plate. Okay, you'll just need to face something. So at the bottom of the stairs is perfect because you've got that bottom step and you've got a handle, you've got the wall there to hold on for balance. If you're using a book or any kind of little ledge, place it in front of the door or the wall. Just even place your fingertips on there. You're not using your hands to pull you up. You are just using the muscles at the back of your lower leg. So I'm placing the front half of my foot, so the ball of my foot and toes on the elevated platform, and my heel is on the floor. Place my fingertips or something in front of me to get your balance, and keep it up nice and tall. I'm going to chuck my rucksack on, which I nearly forgot. So this is the progression from the second workout. Okay, we're adding a rucksack in there because we want to start adding more load now that you're familiar with this exercise. So pull your foot on there, heel onto the floor, slight bend in the knee, so the knee's soft, it's not locked out, but then the knee stays fixed in that position, so I'm not going to continue to press and straighten my knee there. My knee stays slightly bent, and I'm going to raise up as high as I can, pause for 2 seconds, 2 seconds back down until my heel taps. So we're looking at a 6-second rep. So it's 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. 2 seconds up, 2 seconds pause, 2 seconds down. And all the time I've got that slight bend in my knee there. So we're looking to add enough load in there to make that quite challenging, under 8 to 12 reps. Again, we can regress from that by just doing a body weighted version, or we can regress from that by doing alternate legs. So I can do my 6-second rep on my right leg, come down, go straight back up onto my left leg, come down. So again, I'm getting like a 6-second rest between legs, or progress straight through all 8 to 12 reps on one side before repeating onto the other side, okay? So those 5 exercises, we cover the majority, primary muscles used for running in the lower body, and there's quite a lot of single leg in there as well, which obviously ideal for your sport. Coming on to a couple of core exercises to finish. Again, both of these are used with your bands, and this is where your door anchor would come into play. Okay, so your door anchor is just like a little ball that goes on the other side of the door. Okay, so when you close the door, it will go on the other side of the door and it will leave us a loop this side. You'll thread the band through the loop, so the band's now attached to the door and we're holding on to the other end. We'll leave links in the video so you can access those. Alternatively, if you have got a sturdy door handle, the banister, the stairs, if that's available, maybe you've got a sturdy coffee table or the leg of a chair, table, sofa, something like that. Ideally, we want to set the band up so that when we're kneeling down, the band's at about the lower rib cage, okay, about the middle of the torso. If you have to touch it to the bottom, that's okay as well. Okay, it's not going to cause too many problems depending on the height that we set that at, but ideally, so the band's parallel to the floor, so we're holding it into the middle of the chest. So these are pull-off presses from a half kneeling position. So we set ourselves up side onto the band, so the band side onto me. The knee that drops to the floor is the knee that's furthest away. So my right leg's nice and close, and this is what's going to provide some support to stop the band from pulling. So that's the band when it's straight there. I'm going to apply a little bit of resistance now into here. So me keeping up nice and tall, I can feel it pulling me that way, and that's what I want. So with your lower body, we're creating tension, we're drawing the front foot and the back knee towards each other just to create a stable foundation from the bottom. Up nice and tall, looking straight ahead. You're going to exhale, press out, hold for 3, 2, 1, slowly control back in. Okay, what we don't want is we don't want the knee to be coming out, we don't want it to come in, we want to keep the knee, hip, ankle all aligned, pointing forwards, driving out, 3, 2, 1, controlling back in. All the time I'm squeezing this left glute, feeling it down here. My legs are active as well throughout this move. 8 to 12 reps is what we're looking at. To make it more challenging, all we do is we raise that back knee off the ground. So into a low lunge position, so my back knee is off the ground by about an inch. Same again, 3, 2, 1, back in. With this one, we're going to reduce the sets down to 3, so it's going to be 3 sets of 8 to 12 repetitions on each leg, okay? So once I've done it 12 times one side, I turn around, 12 times the other side, that's 1 set, I'm going to do that 3 times. Final exercise, final core exercise, a banded march. So you can set this at the top of the door or the banister. If you can't find anywhere, use someone else that's at home, okay? You could, if you've got partners working out with you, okay, you can both hold on to the band when you're in this position, okay? So one person's got it to the side of here, one person's got it here, and then as you're pressing out, you've also got the extra resistance of somebody else working with you. Same with this exercise. So we want to attach the door anchor to the top of the door, or we try and find somewhere where we can attach the band overhead. If you're working with a partner, you can both do this exercise standing back to back, obviously a little bit distance away, so you've got resistance on the band. So from here, you only want slight resistance, okay? I can make this exercise easy by leaning forwards, and what we're going to do is march. And if I'm leaning forwards like this, apart from my shoulders, I can barely feel it. So the good thing with the camera is I can see myself up vertical, and already my abs are shaking just holding this position, okay? Tense your abs. If you don't, your lower back will arch and you'll feel it there, okay? So this is what we're looking at, hands above the feet, and literally my abs are shaking. We haven't even started yet. So from here, we're going to slowly pick the knee up, pause for a second, slowly back down, and the other leg. Knee up, pause for a second, slowly back down. The more time you can spend on one leg, the more you'll get out of this exercise. Okay? If you're just marching like this, straight away my abs have actually relaxed. I can't even feel it working. Okay? This is the only exercise we're not counting reps. I want you to do it for 60 seconds, okay? And try and make that your challenge. So over time, try and reduce the amount of reps that you're doing in 60 seconds. If I manage to do 30, I'm doing 1 every 2 seconds. By week 2, if I'm reducing that to around sort of 15 reps, and I know I've doubled the amount of time that I'm spending on one leg, okay? So you'll feel it in your shoulders are working to stabilise you there. You might feel it in your hip flexors a little bit, especially after the lower body work that we've done, but certainly you want to feel it in your abs. If your abs are relaxed and you're arching back, you won't feel it so much. So really, tuck your pelvis underneath, squeeze your glutes, squeeze your abs, keep up nice and tall, and you should feel that pretty good there. So they are the 7 exercises to get you through this third workout. Minimum equipment, a band. Any questions, please let me know. And also any feedback as well. You can find me at Fit4U Personal Training on either Facebook or Instagram, and just let me know how you get on with it. Okay, good luck guys.